Here, oh, it should be on. Trong nên đến thế chính xem bằng ra trong bài yang đam bà rì dô bê song yê rì bà phích tiêu xem bà rì xê bà chỉ đến kém bà kê vê đê vê bà lô dư bà la na mê bà la na mê nông kê nông bà song yê trong đến bê bê yê wā xia ya nông bà la ya zang chú nụ ya zhư chê ô Yom den de de shen shen ban ran zhong ban yang dao ber so be san ye re ba dan sha su den ba de war she ba ji den gen ba je wo du e ka lo ji la na me ba la na me na ge den ba san ye zhong den de be ge wa sha ya do ba la sha za lo shu do jia zi ji wo de ba zhong de de shen shen ba da Yang da ma ren so be san ye re ba dan sha so den ba de wa re xie ba ji den gen ba ye wu du ve ka lo ge ro la na me ba la na me na ge dong ba san ye jo de de be ge wa sha ya do ba la sha ze lo jo do ya ze xie wo 我看这个你做觉堂在撒钱的了公婆的门呢，那年纪的那就接送的在开我去了下子路，能到公安就都是脏话，一些个是谁个公婆。大白鸡的从那拉面黄，公婆去你给了家子，三九点八这面大围下，才东着我给了家子，得着去着西巴送马西，娘们亲亲给了家子，公婆都是七天不，他们这天白天不。 Sona yente gyatso jin de jin sheba chasa. Tabe de ja tewa gyur gewe nyezon le shajin. Chedu dandan che gyur ba chi gyur che la chasa bo. Chone chowe la yang den la ba na la ra zun. 谢谢当个云点点，印度那样长长，别把信仰没加心，给我父送说话的给，让给三年永存的，天天三给天白夜。Karma rabri marme dan, gyuma sewa chuburdan. Melawaloda tindamu tuji shunandi dardam. Sanadi tamche sevaye, gomodu ne jenye radude. Gadanadan chive lachule, sive sole ron, shavare sho. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, the supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like the spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. You are immaculate, 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the one God, the thusness I prostrate. The purity which makes one free from attachment, the virtue which frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to that dharma which pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of Shubhata. A star, a mirage, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara ocean, perturbed by waves of aging, sickness, and death. Aju Samba Samba Jumbo Baba Jene Zewanju Sherage Barudu Jumbo Samo Juba Nila Nambar Tajin Kumbo Nabo Zeda Laya Jingi Tombara Nambar Tao Dene Sange Gitu Sedan Demba Sharibu Janju Samba Samba Jumbo Baba Jene Zewanju La Dige Jemeso Rigi Bu Kandala Sherage Barudu Jumbo Samo Juba Juba Deba De Jidala Parcha Ege me badam janju semba semba jumbo baba jere zewanju ge sedan demba shara da de bola de ge me so shari bu rige bu kangala shera ke par de jemba sama sheba sheba deba de titar nambar tawar jate bo ma bo de dalayan rajinge tombar nambar yanda bar jezo tau suzo ma tomba ni suzo suzo tomba ni shema Tomba yele jan suje ma yelo deshin de soro dan de she dan nambar sheba nam domba o Shere bu de da je da je tomba ni de tsini me ba ma ge ba ma ga ba chi ma me ba chi ma dan je wa me ba ga wa me ba o shere bu de da we na tomba ni la zu me sorwa me du je me nambar sheba me mi me na wa me na me Cheme lume ime zume drame cheme rome rexame cheme do mege kame bane ige kame ige number jebe gange bade yame do mariba seba me bane gaji me gaji sebe bade yame do tejen do dunge wadam kunjum wadam go wadam lame ishi me toba me ma toba yame do shari bu te da wena jonju samba nam toba me be Shirage Barudu Chimbala Tingji Nede Simla Deba Mijin Traba Mede Chinji Lole Shindu Dene Nyangele Debe Dara Shindu Kuzundu Nambar Shube Sangye Tamje Kyan Shirage Barudu Chimbala Tene Lana Meba Yanda Barzobe Chanjudu Mbarzo Barsangye So Deda Wena Shirage Barudu Chimbema Kriba Chimbema Lana Mebema Nyambadanyabema, Tongwe Tangje Rabde Shivar Shibema, Nizim Wena Dimbar Shivar Shadi Shirake Barude Shimbema, Meba Tayata Gati Paragati Parasangati Buddhi Swa, Shari Bu Jaru Samba Chimbo Deda Shirake Barudo Chimbo Samola Lapara Chavu Tene Jumde Tingi Zinde Shinde Samba Chimbo Baba Jene Se Wanchu La Leso She Chawa Jene Leso Riki Bu Dede Shinu Dede Shinde Chidra Chuki Tempa Shindu Sherake Paru De Shimba Samola Chimbar Shade De Shin Sheba Nam Kyang Jesu Yeram Chumde Dege Dege Cheka Tsene Tsedan Demba Shade Da De Budan Chanchu Simba Chimbo Baba Jene Se Wanchu Tam Chedan Debe Koru Lama yeda tisa chebe jede yerande chomdende je sumbala mubrede. Thus I have heard, once the Blessed One, page 11, was dwelling in Rajgriha on vulture's peak, together with the great assembly of monks and bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was totally absorbed in the concentration that examines all phenomena called profound illumination. And at the same time, the noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, was engaged in the profound practice of the wisdom Gambyan, analyzing the five aggregates by nature empty. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra spoke to the noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, how should any son or good family learn who wishes to follow the practice of wisdom Gambyan? Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, replied to the Venerable Shariputra, saying, O Shariputra, whatever son or daughter of good family wishes should look at it like this, analyzing the five aggregates by nature empty. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is no other than form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, karmic formations, and consciousness are all empty. Therefore, Jaripatra, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are neither impure nor free from impurity. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Saripatra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no karmic formations, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. There are no spheres of the eyes, no spheres of the mind. There are none of these all the way up to the sphere of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance, nor is there destruction of ignorance. There are none of these all the way up to, there is no old age and death, nor is there destruction of old age and death. Thus there is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, and no path. There is no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, all bodhisattvas hold to the wisdom gone beyond, and because there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond falsity, they reach beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas, are lying on the wisdom gone beyond, fully and clearly awakened to unsurpassed, most perfect and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the wisdom gone beyond, the mantra of great insight, the unequaled and unsurpassed mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering should be known as the truth, where there is no deception. The mantra of the wisdom gone beyond is proclaimed. Tayata Gate Gate Paramati Parasamati Bodhisattva. Oh, Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn the profound wisdom gone beyond. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and praised the noble Avalokiteshvara. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva saying, very good, O son of good family. It is exactly like that. The profound wisdom gone beyond should be practiced exactly as you have said, and then the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the noble Shariputra, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, men, anti-gods, and spirits, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. So ends the noble discourse on the essence of the wisdom gone beyond.
남주 모두가 제일 주제 진짜 자기 열에 제가 남주 남주 수비자면 치다 나한테는 고번 제바체 즉 가시 출발에 나버렸어야 되는데 그저 말해 치다 나한테가 냠내치도 룽아지 제바 또 냠내치다가 나 셈이 냠내치다 한번이요 이 나는 저 난게 셈이 토는 냠내치를 마시아리 나주 스티시들이 정보야 해서
Yes, now, Sunday, and the introductory lecture to Buddha Dharma, and in this lecture, we speak of Dharma that indicates what is external and internal by way of activities, not some basis for discriminating between Buddhists and non-Buddhists, those who practice and those who do not. It's not about that. Rather, it is an indication of external physical and verbal activities and internal mental activities, and where the emphasis is particularly on the internal mental activities, here we mean Dharma.
뭐야, 세상 다 뒤도 다 말한 저런 수술 차샤웨나 시 류다나 nonsense. 맞아. 고슴 세계를 아니 딜루마 예수 묻혀 봐야지. 간다 최신이 되나 류지고는 제 아니고는 제 이지고는 제 어디 숨이요. 이 나는 다소 이지고는 지고요. 그래서
So when we take each ourselves by way of the example, we have our physical actions and our verbal actions. And we have, in addition, our mental actions. And these are referred to as three doors, and they are actions of body, speech, and mind. We have ourselves our physical actions, verbal actions, and principally our mental activities.
뭐요? 야? 이지고는 제거디 유거체어 슉체어 이거 조래 야 룽아디 제거디 이 양알 보다 이지고는 거기 최대 맞제버체 룽아디 최 제거 있나요? 최대 뭐 양알 제거 이 제거 나신 유거체보다 조거체고 요 말해서
The mental is the more forceful. It carries more intensity, and it is principle. The others are branches. Physical actions and verbal actions are just branches. They are not as forceful. They haven't the same efficacy.
제가 공마주고도 먼저 간가 차세요. 차세야 되나요? 룽아 예수의 차세고요. 그래서
Before we begin class, we pay homage in prostration, and that prostration is to physical, verbal, and mental.
제가 이제 제 차세는 저기 이 차들. 이 차도 야고 세요나 룽아지 차도 야고 맞으네요. 예바시게요 말. 이 차도 매버제 룽아지 건 차가서 세워 있네요. 그 매버디 가서 요 말해서
And so in prostration, it is the mental prostration that is principle. And where the mental prostration is principle and present, if one does not engage in the physical and verbal prostration, there's no fault. However, where one is not engaged in the mental prostration and only the physical and verbal, then there is a great fault.
당연히 이지 군안에 지금 가져 쌤은 나가요. 공부사대요. 아니 되자도 해다니 뭐원 유리 같이 아니 유지권의 자체 말은 되가 가서 땅나고 개월 때 시작하고 와 가버려 가버려 그냥 네 많이 봤지 이지권은 뭐네 하는 쌤난 가와다 때 대바다 가시 가려 같이 아니 루지 남주치다 말이 와다 나게 제가 말이 왔는데 여가 있나요? 그 미기를 쳐 교마도야 또 얘기 책이가 있는데 제가 또 얘기 또 예와체가 있나 예와체가 누가체와 조체와래 미개와체가 있나 지과테나지 이거는 제가 또 없죠 여러 송스
When mentally they are anger and disdain and mental affliction, the klesha, that now influence the mind, then in any physical or verbal prostration, no matter how many of these prostrations are done, it is difficult for those yet to become virtues. Wouldn't it be that way? Yet where the mind is filled with appreciation, devotion, faith, then even if there were no physical and verbal prostrations performed, nevertheless there would be no non-virtue. It is especially what is mental that tends toward what is virtuous. It is most important, it is most forceful, and most efficacious.
아니 네 강라야 아니 이번에 이지고는 차차가 변했어 이지고는 차차인데 파중고 유대 구바다 아니 그 유대 통로권은 구바다 아니 거기에 랑이 막구비 내봤어요 구바세봐 아니 유대 랑 토벌 세봐 되게 뭐마 선네 챵바디 이지고는 차차서 다스미 이거는 챵바고네 아니 유지고네다 거기 떼봐 피와 이나 지고래 근데 마음에 그걸로 가르쳐비는 되게 상하로 가지고는 차차고 저래 아니 뒤냠지 마고 차차가 루이지 고마 무슨 고비 알아놨어 아다나가도 야이 차차야 돼 이 탐지 살아파는 차차야나 야라나 살아도는 차차야 이 세계 열에서
A prostration is complete in all of its parts. It entails refuge, and all the conditions of refuge are there. And additionally, where one performs the mental prostration in devotion, recognizing the exceptional qualities that one is devoted to and intending to develop those very same qualities in oneself, then with this mental attitude, one is engaging in a mental prostration. And then when this informs the verbal activity which celebrates and praise those qualities, or through prayer, this is a verbal prostration. And then when all 5 limbs come down to the ground, there are 2 forms of physical prostration, the one in which the entirety of the body meets the ground, and the one in which 5 limbs do. This is the physical prostration.
누가 예수님과 자녀도 책이요. 누가 예수 수수수는 차차요. 자녀도 세요. 해서
The physical, verbal, and mental prostration may all be performed together, or they may be performed individually.
나 차스도 먼저 나바게 차제체니 나바 차제 너무 지우를 저기도 지우를 자야 되는 산지지 꾸 두배 바자샤 이 tem벌을 자야 송주배 바자샤야 인가를 자야 투주배 바자샤 대대체 명과치기 어려서
In the prostration, one performs the mudra, where the first mudra is brought to the crown of one's head, and this is for the achievement of the body of the Buddha. And when the mudra is drawn to the throat, this is for the achievement of the speech of the Buddha. And when it is drawn to the heart, this is for the achievement of the mind of the Buddha.
저는 딱이 돈에니까 이 차도는 하는 루살만 파 랑이 류장가가 수만도 장자 천년이나 무가가 살마 차로로 아니 장자 천년 꿈자 천년이나 아니 대화제 라바니지 배문이지 야랑아 살토니 차생이었어 근데 제야디 딱 디레다 루이지고네 아니 차체와디 이발라 아니 가서 가르치고 왔으면 딱 미과치리 아니 다 랑이 빅하게 내가 이모가 왕이 중국에 류디 마살마 유 아시아니 아니 야 당주자마 아니 텔레게 탈베게 다 뉴사메게 류 코알 탈베야 당웨게 코알이야 야 라인 코알이야 당 코알 되베게 미과ችን 야랑게 요래서 뭐지
When one performs the physical prostration, they drop to the ground in either an extended prostration or a contracted prostration. In the extended prostration, the entirety, the full length of the body meets the ground. In the contracted prostration, the forehead, the 2 palms, and the knees, these 5 branches, touch the ground. And this is a physical prostration. And as the physical prostration is performed, what one conceives of is that the body, which has been inherited through the influence of karma klesha, is discarded as it is laying down on the ground. And then rising again, one conceives of oneself as liberated now from the contaminated aggregate of samsara, having escaped it and liberated.
삼로땅 대오치기는 lui mo chade chen ma lui sala phabdu ne rangi me song ke di ju ni mo ta bhaja inzo ta ani degi sa be jebu 동행 게 lui 수이 pombothi pa thorne masa ma phabdu song ti me che ya dangdu sama ani lam chanju ta chanju go samda ta chanju samda ta 안 ta la cha kunju se ju sem ni ki to ki 양서 남을 때는 제부 아니 타바 코알을 타바 양내를 달게 이유 삼아서 미과신 양과 시기 양내를 통한 차체도는 아니 시라 변치 뭐래서
To put it succinctly, as one prostrates to the ground, onto the ground, then one conceives of this action as laying down the body that has the latencies of the mental afflictions and which will experience the result of these, namely pain in the hell realms. That body is laid down and discarded. And as one rises in prostration, one conceives of this rising in prostration as the practicing of the path, namely the awakening mind of bodhicitta in its conventional and ultimate form, the practice by which one transcends sorrow. And if one conceives of the prostration as just this, it is of tremendous benefit.
삼로편대제당 아니 되네 유기다 나게 자체기나 아니 룽하게 자와체가 대양 꿀룽이 꿀룽 셈기 심에 돈 체가 있는 곧 간다 거기 차지를 맞으나요 차세바디 하장기 묘버치 뭐 편의치 뭐 차대요 그래서
With this intention at the outset, thinking in this way at the outset, motivated in this way in prostration, then the physical and the verbal prostration, as they are directed by the mental intention, become very forceful and very beneficial.
차 지금 많이 봤네 니스만 어째 봐야 돼 아니 룽이 교와도 짜나야 마 야고 교토야 단 짜롱데들 누가 장토야 바자샤가 치들라 근데 차 망고째게 지제나 차다라와 이네 숨시 망고째 봐야 돼 짜롱게 자야 누가샤가 치들라 근데 망고째게 어려서
And if one were to prostrate 2, 3, or many more times, this too is an exercise of the winds moving in the channels. And the exercise of the winds moving in the channels is an exercise that one can engage in extensively through many prostrations.
Why? 세상다 이제 어디다다 누가 남기 최세디 최제 마치 세기다 대시디 돈을 레버로 하잖아 최제세디 또 이주권을 준다 최제고 이어봐 이주권을 최제가 있나 아니 누가도 최가 제가 있나요 곧 배추 위다고 보고요 이주권의 마지막에 누가 찍고 저 제가 있나 아니 최대 누가 찍고 내가 여러 되게 대시디 자가 요소
And so dharma, that is the inner activities of mind, is our guideline for distinguishing between dharma and adharma. An explanation of what is dharma and what is not follows along these lines. that is, the mind is principle. And where it is principle, then that which is physical and verbal, which follows after it too, will be constructive. But if one only engages in activities physically and verbally, they are of very little force.
야, 네네. 나디 만화도 다 최체바 만화도 때 제바 최소 송아스로 상게다 최 용아 예수고 최적을 했어. 다 최제바의 최소 드라마도 고 도와다 만들어서 차야 돼. 겐 가르치고서나 꿀롱이 적으로 해서.
And when we speak of dharma and engaging dharma, then do we speak of authentic dharma, that is physical, verbal, and mental? And what is conducive to the authentic dharma? What is required in the way of conditions for the authentic dharma?
야, 야만은 지난 꿀롱주에서도 꿀롱주에라 전반만 버려. 배나마저 칼라신 뭐지 사와 삼네 고꿀롱 삼도 땅으로와. 아니 칼라신 뭐지 소고와 삼네 아니 꿀롱 줘버렸다. 아니 지금 드린 게 배니마디 드린 배는 사니마다 보다 공세하고 땅으로 삼네 꿀롱 줘버렸다. 아니 드린 가서 진짜로 용내게 그게 진짜로 드린 줘야고 년과 삼나요. The
condition is the intention. And an intention is involved when one intends to eat a satisfying meal. I'll eat a satisfying meal, and that very thought is the intention to do so. And when one thinks, any given Sunday, I will enjoy that as a holiday, this too is an intention. And when one thinks, I will listen attentively to dharma, this is the intention.
Oh yeah, I think so. Kurungo test se digi samlatan kuruncheva inaya kuruncheva le pera mazu mizidi kibuji sowa mizidi tenda temba sowi mizidi pe kange meba sogi da sam suzu laga chaji ting ani samlatan ina po kuruncheva le ani chik suzu kandar suzu mizidi mishiba mizidi na ya wa chigi da wa chigi da 근데 지도나 내셔 비슈구나 삼은 삼들이 삼도 땅에 있나요? 꾸lun초가 해서 꾸lun초가 해서
And the development of an intention within this very life too is intending in this life, and it may be along the lines of intending to live a good life, a meaningful life, a life in which one avoids hardship and one makes plans accordingly. And this is to make their intention. And similarly, one may do so in view of others, intending to be of assistance to others, to help others, to be of some service in society. These are all intended actions.
뭐요? 나디 꾸lun초가 있나요? 단단하서 만족이 꾸lun초고래. 디 치에서 좋아라 꾸lun초고래 세 꾸lun디 잘 말해서
These are all intending. And when we speak of an intention that leads to authentic dharma, yet it is none of these forms of intending.
예, 세상에 인데 치에서 저거 꾸lun초고래스나 아니 다 간디초고래스 따스나 도바디 레사로 왔다 지와 있는 도바 있는 다 레사로 치에서 좋아하는 치에서 제바도 치에서 도그를 두고 말해서 상무 꾸lun 소고래서 꾸lun도 다 가르레스 이거 들어봐 예, 세상에 인도 꾸lun디 아 코알 양주 마 코리아스 다 상무 간디 땅샤고 있는 디 아다 치에서 저거 꾸lun초바다 두고 말해 다 코알이야 타래하게 대부 대화 코너 중이야. 코알에 탈야게 삼로시 땅에 딸 삼로시 땅에 있나 삼로 땅에 대라 안에 그런 지어 봤어. 취해서 저 그런 지어 봤어. 차를 해서
For authentic dharma, the intention must be refined appropriately. But hearing this, one will have a misgiving or have a further question to ask. If authentic dharma or adharma depends upon the intention, then what intention am I after? Anywhere where the intention is a cause for samsara, it is not the intention which leads to authentic dharma. Where the intention is to liberate and to find well-being and well-being alone, and this is the intention, this is the refined intention leading to authentic dharma.
야. 근데 봐 타도 제 아니 셰바이나 간제 동행 계약이 귤을 줘야 삼로 간데 땅이나 이 다단도 그런 취해서 그냥 두고 말했어. 대화 계약이 그 대화 계획이 귤을 주고도나 안에 다 그런 취가 나는 그 삼로 땅 그런 취가 나 주고 해서
To put it emphatically is to put it this way. Any thought that will cause pain is not intention which is of authentic dharma. Any thought that only gives rise to well-being is a thought of intention to authentic dharma.
야. 야, 이거 계산자로 뺐어. 빼는 자를 한번 매당 샤족의 자를 한번 토스 숨이가 있나스. 토스 담볼에 깨봐 있나야? 매기 한번 자가는 깨버려. 이발에 깨봐 있나야? 제 매당사의 자 한번에 깨버려. 숨발에 깨봐 있는 매당사 자 한번에 깨버려. 가와 깨봐 있나야? 어서 숨고 가와는 주고 있네. 그 매당 juk 한번 있나? 시기로 와. 지발에 와. 그 동네에 관심이 뭐 지발에 매기 당시 요기야 자주 자 한번에 지발에 와서 에나신 먼저 된쟁이 대사기 컴 코아들라 컴 숨이거래. 컴 숨 가와 깨봐 있나요? 동네에 관심만 동네 대외 관심 말에 제가 꼭 강조 깨봐 있네. 동네 관심이나 콜에 깨봐기 교관되지나 상무 관리 땅에는 네가만 아니 동네 깨 글을 두고 그랬어. 어디 숨고 그랬어.
Gyalzan. The seventh Dalai Lama Gyalzan Gyatso put it in this way. There was a 3-story iron house afire, and it would be no different to be born in the first story of the 3-story iron house afire, or the second story, or the third. No matter where you're born into a scorching hot iron house, and everywhere there it is characteristically painful. And so it is in samsara for every sentient being, no matter where in samsara's 3 realms, the nature of experience there is painful and not. Is painful Therefore, anywhere, anytime a thought is cause for birth into samsara, it is not intention of authentic dharma.
다 되게 저와도 그래 안 그래서는 따나 다 대화 계획이 꾸는 쪽거나 다 간대서 그래서 다 대화 계획이 꾸는 쪽고 얘는 다 간대서 그래서 뭐 저들 다 딜러 미 삼로 노정 야래 저 남주기 셔를 야래고 타오기 삼로 제단 다시 봐 이제 지난 망고요 있는 남리나다 다서 뒤니 삼로서 뒤니 다서 숨 기부 타마 기부 팅 기부 첨부 삼로 담바는 거 숨세 아니 기부 숨이 남지 림바 남 냠내기 좀 받지다 요구요 해서
Then what is the intention which is invariably cause for only pleasure and not pain? If this is the intention which we are after, how does one intend in this way? That's the question, naturally. And the refinement of the intention has been characterized in different ways that depend upon the native intelligence and sensitivity of the person and their background. In the great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment, it is characterized through three individuals of three levels of sensitivity: least sensitivity, average sensitivity, and exceptional sensitivity.
이 차원에서마다 가르쳐 버렸으나 세들이 수수기 대화 영화 되게 영화도 더 세들라 기바 영화 삼로 땅 전에 삼로 가르치 땅은 이바이나요 다디 구름주 같다 관주시에 구름주 같은 나는 요 말했어 세들이 되게 영화도 삼로 땅을 간 걸로 구름 단다면서 구름주에서 구름주가 요 말. 단다 구름주에서 하나 기부 마타 구름 줘봐 이나야 아니 간다 미 송이 동네에 타봐 미 송이 동네에 동네도 못 쳐네 아니 다도 타봐 치고도 대치도라 잡로다 레제다 어디래라면 수시들라비 그코 미 송이 동네에 타봐 치고도 타봐 치고라 cap kunjo sum gogudu tele rangi nyamne le de nyamne chigogudu inde cheringe tarba chigi sambe samba doa odi ta kibu chumu da tumo la namje je bala go chawa kurung chebas odi de jale somas
The thought and inclination to find for oneself pleasure and satisfaction in this life is never an intention of authentic dharma. As has been said, it does not fall into the category of intention for authentic dharma. At the minimum, one must intend for liberation from the pain of hell realms, recognizing pain as painful and intending to liberate oneself from it through going for safe passage through the refuge, the three jewels, and intending to practice in the framework of karmic causality so that I will be liberated. This is the intention of the individual of least sensitivity.
chemang son도 마게바 좀 예송도 마게바 주나 아니 먼저 딱 대화 토바를 해 제가 좀 남녀는 디버를 해 이를 하고 냐면 요 말을 했다 저 되게 레벨와 예 딜레드 좀 봤다 딜레드 다 딜레 하베 대화 삼로 땅이나 딱 맞아 예송을 타르네 칼리스 덴돌리 하다 미 고방 토배다 대돌레 그러와 제가 대돌레 레바 있나요 아니 다 간데 동네 매바르에 강에 매바르에 저월에 뭐 딜레온도 아니 다 간다 밀리게 봐 있나요 개와나지 동네 하라게 봐 있나요 동네게다 동네 무주어요 말에 매바 있나요 동네지 잡아두시기 동네 여바 인도 그 두가지 지금 와도 간다 동네게 이주 이바디 니에바 차들로 제가 이런데 동네를 타리요 말와 타르면 와서 동네지랑 동네게 쇼쇼좀 사대요 그래서 늘 하대고 이들 아니 땅이 그 대린 동네 매바 있나요 상이 동네 매집에 내바 매바 근데 이들 아니 나고 동네에 라시지 차대요 제가 마타는 되게 미도 다 늘 타베 치도라 아니 람 라바숨나 라바치기 이사게 고롱주에서나 아니 기부 증다 통을 남겨서 말로 잡아왔어. 어디 잘 해서 왔어.
When one ensures they are not born again into hell realms, is this the achievement of ultimate well-being? Is this the final end, after which there is nothing more? One may wonder. There is, though, more. That is, when one is liberated from hell rebirths, that is to be born into the fortunate realms of heavenly beings or human beings. Wouldn't it be so? And does it follow that there is no pain at all and no hardship? There is, of course, among human beings, the pain of birth, aging, sickness, and death. Among heavenly beings, though the pain is not manifest, it is all pervasive and conditioned. Anything produced later disintegrates. By being produced, the disintegration is inevitable. The absence of pain at the present moment does not make impossible subsequent moments which are painful. So then one recognizes this and intends for liberation from this through the training in the three higher trainings. And this is the intention of the individual of intermediate average sensitivity.
딱 기부 증기 통을 넣어줘서 다 되네. 딱 가르치고 그래서 딱 거기 수수랑이 딱 코알 탈바 삼로 땅. 탈바 토바 있네. 자. 아니 지금 삼로디 땅에 있는 가다 대삼지 아니 다랑은 누가 차상 여봐. 수수 된 간데 수수 연대 토바가 차상 토바. 아니 딜을 하고 연대 토베야 매봐. 이제 레베스 대마레스. 다 딜을 하고겠다. 가려 열었으나 랑 동네를 타러 맞대 신 동네를 껴베기. 아니 누가 랑 토베야 여봐. 어디인지 다 가르치고 그랬으나 아니 다 간다 랑라 진치베다 셈지 탐지 아니 직다 동네를 껴버치베 동네를 껴내 아니 대화 토베기 이게 아니 탐지 개별 고방 생겼다 서버 자고도 300 300 아니 대대지 신랑 동네를 타고 나시 신 탐지 동네를 타는 대화를 꼬투고서 자기 뒤치도 그냥 람냠내 지기 사바데 되게 꾸룽줘가 있나 아니 기부 침부 꾸룽줘가 자기가 해서 나시
That then is the intention of the individual of intermediate sensitivity. Now, when such an individual has achieved for themselves liberation from samsara as intended, then have they achieved everything in the way of good qualities and everything in the way of their potential. And after this point, is there nothing more to be found? But there is. Just as one had aspired to liberation, which was mere personal liberation, one recognized that one would develop a capacity to likewise gain liberation for all others who exceed oneself in their kindness. One would protect them. And in order to protect them, one must achieve omniscient Buddhahood. And intending to achieve omniscient Buddhahood, aware that one meant to protect themselves through liberation and would therefore intend to protect others, to liberate them and establish them in their well-being, intending to do so and to practice. In order to achieve this, one has refined their intention as an individual of greatest sensitivity. And in instruction and study in dharma like ours, based upon the great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment, this exchange in dharma would be motivated, consistent with the refined intention of the individual of greatest sensitivity, as we instruct and study and cultivate dharma. It is with this ongoing intention. It is necessary that one refines their intention consistent with the individual of greatest sensitivity, so long as the subject matter is the great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment. It is necessary that one refines one's intention in this way. One must, but why? In view of the subject matter of the great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment, which is the means to the achievement of omniscient Buddhahood. It is without any thought for personal well-being. It is with the thought of establishing all others in their lasting well-being and dispelling their pain and sorrow. In order to do so, I must achieve omniscient Buddhahood. And in order to achieve omniscient Buddhahood, I will study and then contemplate and cultivate. And therefore, the intention must be that of the individual of greatest sensitivity. In short, the individual of exceptional sensitivity must refine their intention in this way. But for activities to be conducive to authentic dharma, it is, as has been said, one must have the intention of any of those three kinds characterized earlier. And should one have an intention consistent with any of these three, then whatever one's thought, whatever one says, whatever one does in motion, they will all be conducive to authentic dharma.
그런 쪽과 개침보 가리는 거 배신 부지 시험이나 그런 시험 빠는 아주 세디기 디기 춘주 세디기 디기를 지난 세디기 디기 이 난에 배는 말한조 세고 담좀 빠는 거도 이내자 세도 이내자 내게 강보도 이내자 아주 수술을 더해야 치더라 아무 밀레 깨져 되기를 아니 수술 딱세 되기를 아니 또 연나 야사를 맨날 딱 제발 버치니 아니 다 배고서 다 연나만 제가 말했으면 되게 구름 삼로 땅네 아니 거기 아니 자와도 고추고 여러 왔어 제가 세디기 자와도 찍려야 되게 구름 쪽에 요바 이나스 아니 수수기 미지땡이 두마 로로 전에 로 당하지 않으면 앞에 비술 하자는 리무르기 되게 그래서 아니 구름 가르치는 쪽으로 예벌도 쪽으로 구름 쪽에 이나 아니 변도 친구들이 여바데 시에 관해 아니 냐면 지역으로 해서 구름 쪽으로 해서
Refining an intention is so critically important. Why is it so critically important? Let me prove how it is. Even pursuing little pleasures in this life, and any pursuit of pleasure limited to this life, is a trivial pleasure. It will be for pursuit of food and clothing and accommodations. Those will be the pursuits. One will make inquiries to others, how best to achieve these. One will examine possibilities, consider, is it better to have this or not? Concluding it is best to have that, one will make their plans and act accordingly. And if one does this in view of the needs in this life, then when one enlarges one's scope to consider the many subsequent lifetimes, so long in their duration, and when one would have satisfaction during these, one can recognize the advantage of refining their intention. So you must.
근데 배우 가리가 뭔가 구름도 줄어봐라 때네 아니 자와도 지도 나나 발세 많이 뭐 저거 제투야 아니 랑기다 간다하게 내가 탈출가 용야 어디서 강하다 구름 것도 그래서
And what advantages stem from this intention? When the intention underlies the actions, then one will be able to overcome obstacles and be consistent in the application of their effort and bring to completion their intentions.
배나면서 세모는 가오이 저 있나다 송은 가오이 저 있나다 수수수수비 대바이 저도 딱 한번에 삼로다는 게 세모데 세기나 지금 좋아다 물론도 여바이나 아니 세모데 타르마신 것도 제 투그리 제두 갈래 내봐 제 사주선 봐 수술을 세모고 배터는 덮자 덮고 있네라 가르 덮고는 덮어야 여바 세상 연구도 어디가 꿀릉도 개발 신부 여러 꿀릉도 연구도 와서 대나시 송나 지바 여러 가지 아무도 단다 냐메시알라야 대가라 꿀릉도 대가라 찍고 거래서
For instance, in any sport and in business, whatever one is inclined to for instance, if it's sports, whatever the sport where one has an enthusiasm for it, then one will play through the entire game to the last minute, that one will not tire, and in the end, achieve what one intends. And it makes all of the difference. And it is the same in business. And it should be understood that it is the very same here in practice of the dharma.
아니 내가 간다든지 일전부터 꾸는 돼 당고 내가 당고디 꾸는 되래 제가 꾸는 돼 더라 당고 내가 가리 있나야 당고 꾸는 투어 거래요.
The advantage is tremendous. The advantage follows from the intention. This intention is critical. Therefore, you must refine your intention.
최신의 지도자마다 최신의 제법이 아니다 수수기 간다 꾸는 좀 맞춰야 되나 가르치고 있는데 수수고 온보다 참바시는 줘야 돼. 이나양 약속 쪽에 이나다 아니 뭐도 기부 친구 꾸는 줘도 줘보고 이거래 손을.
As a person who does practice, these kinds of refined intentions may suit a range of ability levels, but the very best refinement of intention is that consistent with the individual of greatest sensitivity.
야, 다만 드린 거는 다 시에서 시 지도만 조절이나 이제 얘네들 맞아서 아마도 까만찌르면 수수수보다 딱 냠용도 쌓야 치들어 딱 그런 짓죠. 와서 검식하면 다만도 장도 수부 대고 이제는 아니 수부서 수 검게도 잠깐 농자로 수부서 정보치 아니 맞아 가진 강도 시야나 이제 샘도지 기록 류도지 기록 뭐 류도지 기록 얘네 샘도지 기록 얘네 자도지 기록 얘네 틀려도지 기록 옷 기록 시와 옷 이제 대는 곰 까만 식스 곰투이나 그런 지금 여기 간다는 남주 자자다 제 아니 샘 그런 또 샘바즈도 저기 좀 많이 맞는 까마치 그런 지역으로 해서
What I have described today, now, as though you would be tested on it, you will gain some experience by actually, in meditation, refining your intention. We will meditate for a moment. Those of you who are physically well enough may adopt the fourfold Vajra posture, that is, the physical body in Vajra posture, the mind in Vajra posture, the channels in Vajra posture, and the Bindu in Vajra posture, the fourfold Vajra posture. And if you are able to meditate, you will meditate with this external posture, the internal mental posture, and you will refine your intention.
that's we 기름 지마등이 그에는 저 참바고 거기다가 저 참바고도 어디도 시야스니까 맞지 않죠. 어디에 아니 간다 땡이지 거기에 둘이 대처하 이거거든. 이 배전한 요래서 놓지.
And those who are not able to adopt the Vajra posture may sit in the posture of the Maitreya. Here, Maitreya, with legs extended as they are, one is allowed to meditate in concentration in this posture too.
아니 도지 기름들에 도지 기름 항상 체간이 열어서
As for the Vajra posture, there is full posture and half posture.
야. 나도 도지 기름은 대வை는 강반이 도지 기름들 강반 예외 라가 강반 유행이 강반샤 네가 예샤는
And those who are really able to adopt the Vajra posture do so by placing their right foot atop the left thigh and the left foot atop the right thigh and drawing one's body together in that manner. And the hands are in the position of the left hand beneath the right atop the left, the thumb tips touching, and the hands themselves placed at the navel. The shoulders are straight. And the back, when this posture is adopted, is straight as an arrow. With that, one has adopted the Vajra posture. In that physical posture, the channels themselves naturally fall into the Vajra posture. And when the channels are in Vajra posture and open, then the movement of the winds is in the Vajra posture as well. And when the wind is in such a position, then as the wind leads the mind, then the mind too is in Vajra posture. And in this posture, by the force of this posture, then one will refine their intention, and the thought that refines the intention is for the well-being of all sentient beings, to bring them well-being, to part them from their pain. I will train in the path of the awakening mind to achieve bodhi. And then one inhales. One may inhale through one nostril or through both nostrils. One inhales, and then until releasing that inhalation, one holds the mind with stability. Here we are, 1 minute now.
뭐야? 딱 이치도 망하도 이것이 검치도 쌤情况다 고박이 되게 어느 쌤 약고 때부터는 밑에서 봐도 미 치유시다 안 나고나 때려서 가지고 때도는 아니 약고 여러 손이지.
Jingwa 네, 럽나? 좋아.
나
Jingwa 럽나? Dus tak
情况다 고박이
그래.
쌤 그거면도나
하나.
밑당 거기 잡았어.
I with this object of meditation, in meditation, if there is no excitement, sluggishness that sets in, then one may leave one's eyes open slightly, looking down toward the tip of the nose.
지금情况도 고박이 여기 내가 얘기 때문에 밑에 쏠네. 건 지금은 되게 여러 손이지.
If there is any excitement or sluggishness that sets in from the sight of external objects, it is fair to close one's eyes.
예. 그냥 수 오지 말래. 수 파지. 약간 무슨 파지. 된 이야 요번에 조직 까마치 거기다 대기울 등기. 그런 제단들었어. 까마치 거기 사냥 단도 수고서 오지 말래. 약간 무슨 파지를 양수 권이 직세나 야가 됐어.
And now, having released this breath, then we will inhale again. But when exhaling the breath, then one also releases their limbs and then draws their limbs together again with the next inhalation. And retaining the next breath, we will refine the intention consistent with the individual of intermediate sensitivity.
난 까마치. 그래야 도시 기둥시리야 조제 담시 왔어.
And again, having released the posture, draw up the body again into the fourfold Vajra posture.
야, 다 삼로 땅에 가르스나? 가마도 코와 감 된로 년로 가와도 깨버 있나야? 동해지랑 신래 동해를 타르바 치기 동해를 타르바 치고 람라바 숨이 냠내지 다르지 마지 치기 삼바치 삼로 땅에 대체 안 대단 다이나 이제 제로 시에서마시.
In the fourfold Vajra posture, then exercise the intermediate intention, which recognizes that in all realms of samsara, whether fortunate realms or unfortunate realms, all are naturally painful. One must find liberation from these, and one will do so through training in the three higher trainings. I will do this. This is the intention. Inhale and meditate for 1 minute.
오지 말래.
Now release that breath.
아티네 기우 충옥을 담이 뭐 공룡 주인이나 아니 가서 다시 가려서나 보로 예송기 동네를 타러 치기 배 예송기 동네 하장 동네 잡고 그런 수요만 두야 되게 동네 대형 하장 근데 그 동네 잡고 뒤지기 유정부 동네 남당 전에 망고 되게 동네 있는 아니 딱 예송기 동네를 타러 치고도 비치도록 아니 또 냠내 체 장도다 내규데 규데 제부 남샤도 동네 규디 벌레 제부 동네 초 남샤도 세만 템베 타네 아니 내길에 다른 송의 동네를 타네 아니 내가 아미 고마 먼저 고마 다도 비엔레기 고마 토를 맞으면 타면 토가 자기 삼아치 대대지 삼아치 땅을 해서 마치
And then you must consider the intention of the individual of least sensitivity, which involves the pursuit of liberation from the pain of disastrous hell realms which involve excruciating pain, which is unbearable. That pain of hell realms is excruciating, endless, various, and one must escape such pain. And one does so through safe passage, through refuge, within the framework of karmic causality, wherein pain is the consequence of non-virtue. Recalling this, one pursues an escape from the pain of disastrous hell realms. It is temporary respite to find rebirth in fortunate realms as heavenly being and human being, and it is the ultimate achievement to find the highest good. Inhale now and for 1 minute meditate. Now please release that inhalation.
better 먼저 modest colors modern yoga modest logo yoga that produce a modern chalk or draw to you contest draw to it nyanga level contest draw to it and pocket contest level chow to it all the zuka color la bola yorwa and color is and color never ina ko level marwa in chins ulung yoga ina and ko 자와되게 가고 두배 유바 자와되게 그런데 미 레벨 유바 그런데 내가 있는 거 자와되게 가고 두마도 와서 거기 두배 내가 잘 내가 디나시 그 개치고 그런데 줘야 되는 것도 냠매치야겠다 당고 고 개치셔도 자기가 해서
Refining the intention is so very important. So allow me to offer an example to eliminate anywhere where you wish to travel and you would need a driver, and it is in the hands of the driver whether one arrives safely at their destination, the speed along the way, the direction taken to the destination. Ensuring arrival is in the hands of the driver. Now, without any driver, there's no ensuring any success. Without any direction, there is no achieving anything along the way. So it is the critical gateway, the refined intention.
세상에 지금 딱 가진 거 본자다 하는 딱 가진 것도 너네 가진 것만 시리즈마다 내 담보와라 셈네답지 이게 구스 셈네답 구스 맞다 담보 셈 줘봐 아니 되네 균도 줘봐 렌데 줘봐 아니 녀월 줘봐 튜버 줘봐 시월 줘봐 나마 시월 줘봐 셈 세지도 줘봐 녀월 줘봐 어디 당고 쌤 장에 좀 쌤 장에 좀 바꾸디 민비다를 해서 당갔다
숨쉬고 아니 듬바게 바고가 듬바
당보디 줘봐 윈도 줘봐 렌데 줘봐 녀월 줘봐 투월 줘봐 시월 줘봐 넘버 시월 줘봐 세직도 줘봐 쌤 녀월 줘봐
The approach to meditation, as has been characterized as it is for a beginner, involves the 9 stages of placing the mind for mental concentration, which are these 9 stages of placement of the mind. Continuous placement of the mind, patching placement of the mind, close placement of the mind, disciplined placement of the mind, pacified placement of the mind, very pacified placement of the mind, single-pointed placement of the mind, and equipoise. Gjørende tøvertiklavgjensel det 20 år siden, da var det ikke
이 말을
Didn't know what it says on?
한번 세지도 제발 고거디 봐. 아예
Digga ba. Gobe det 냠샤.
냠벌 줘. 이거 세지도 제발 개발제 고거디 쓰면 냠벌 잡았지. 단 장가 보디 딱 알아 냠벌 개침부 차대 그래서
These 9, understanding these 9 is important.
일단 당부가 나도 쌤디 줘봐 그래서 봤다 그게 배는 대비도 조절하나 샤스도 샤우도 이나시 샘데 미과가 파도 샤우 또 스타라 샤와나 시 샘데 파도 샤요 레송스.
In the first stage, placement of the mind, one places the mind on the object of meditation, just as one places a book on a table. When one places an object on the table, once placing an object, one must place the mind on the object of meditation.
거기 미과 거기 샘디 샤야지. 아니 샤사리 거기다 거기 자연 잔이 게임 룽무시 룽도 바샤리 룽디 독샤바이나 샘데 독데 룽디 요소는 샘디 요소스 주 유토단데 데데 제가 이제마다 두스 간다를 샘데 거기 유카올 때리나 다세 미과가나 바두스 자라샤와 나지게 바 샤스 나고 샘 마콤지 좀 유른 거 샤투고 말아 샤투고 말아 셀직샤 양고 샘 인수나 양고는 샤 양샘 인수는 고는 샤 어디를 샤다 고 당고 샤바스 네 바 균도 샤바 살방고 바 샤바로 균도 샤바 차그래서
The mind is what is placed on the object of meditation. That which is placed is the mind. Where it is placed is the object of meditation. Its placement, the moving of the mind to its object, is the function of the moving winds. The moving winds move the mind to place it on the object and will move the mind off of the object. Whatever is looked to as the object of meditation, there the mind is placed. But without practice in meditation, one will be distracted and need to place and replace the mind repeatedly back on its object of meditation, and through repeated replacement of the mind on its object, then a continuous placement of the mind may be achieved.
약간 그래도 다르지게 이제 망고 좋아하는 롱이 요아슈 첨부체네. 아니 남도가 되게야 고바들이 슈 첨부체네. 간들 샘 유마투 좋나? 아니 샘이 파샤. 아니야. 거는 주주 사바 되지. 요 거는 도스네 투야지 고도. 제가 내내 줘 봐서. 인버트 샘 그 유튜브는 거야 요 샘이야. 파 인 거는 요 거는 샤죠.
When repeatedly the mind is placed again back on the object of meditation, the repeated replacement of the mind on the object of meditation can excite the moving winds, and excitability and sluggishness may set in, and then the mind must be returned to the beginning of the process, beginning again at the beginning. And this is the patching placement of the mind. Then with one and a second and repeated placement of the mind, one gradually gains some experience and some feeling for the placement of the mind on its object, and gains a bit of control. And though the mind is not entirely stable, it may be placed in such a way that this is the closer placement of the mind.
아니 쌤 데스 배 왕요 조신 데스 자야시 어디지 냐면 시디 아무도 들어 찍으려 고민자베 다 무슨들이 해서
On an object of meditation, placing the mind repeatedly again upon it, using an object in the morning, when one is able to make time to place the mind on the object and to replace the mind on the object whenever excitability moves it away from it, to inhale again and place the mind again on the object, and to meditate in this way during the week to come will be our lesson.
쌤이 뭐 가시는 수술이다 배려요 수술을야 고매하게 유치단 미국 시작다가 가고 거야 업무 유치단 좀 제발 이거 쓰기로 와 이내 당어서 단다 또 단다 먼저 냐면도 제기나 그런 주주도 돌아 또 그런 주 엘들 그런 주에 대해서 쌤도 내가 또 전에 뭐 제가 여러 전에 야고 여래스 나한테 많이 봐서 산지 구도들고 아니 수수지 하게 다 유, 오물 가르쳐야 되는데 거기 있나야? 거기는 되게 해서
One may place the mind on whatever object makes for the easiest placement of the mind on its object. There will be a variety of objects that lend themselves to individuals with their differences in what appears most vividly to them. But in this context, an especially constructive object of meditation is just this refined intention. When the intention is refined, then that adjusted intention becomes the object of meditation, and the mind is placed on just this intention. But otherwise, one can just as well meditate on the form of Buddha. But whatever appears most easily, that may be, is a suitable object of meditation.
그냥 제가 이나는 수술 하던 이마치기 나라 시내 딱 공개하게 표현돼 요가제 아니 수술 미진 나라 지금 제박이 봐야 전설해야 편도 요가제 아니 냐네 요가제 아니 그 진료를 연구하기 간다대 요가제 어디데 표현이 요래지 뭐냐면 맞으면 맞아요. 이제 산이 산이 그 두준 러시아에 대기 말이죠. 또 두줄까도 왕정도 리어 말어. 근데 두줄 러시아에 내가 두줄 대가나 거기 내리고 가다 이만이만이 맞지를 가만지 마 그룹이 근데 두줄 투이나 근데 팬도 친구 열에스 두줄 공개만 가서 팽기를 해서
The practice in this way daily brings tremendous advantages in this life, strengthened recall, lends itself to practice. It gives us a reason to attend this lecture. Otherwise, should you not practice, time will continue to stream past out of your control. But if instead daily, for 1 minute, 2 minutes, you do meditate in this way, then you will see the advantages of doing so.
거의 남아서 남아서 나베야만 저것들은 저거이나 아니 저거 숨쉬어서 너는 까마가지 저것들이 남투나 야도 직판도 요것들이 요래서
And now if there's any need, we may open for Q&A, and it is constructive too to raise any questions that there are.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. Earlier, in the teaching, I thought I heard, it said that exercise the wind moving into channels through prostration. So how does that work?
다들 nghe đến raba chik kosong ta gishi ge an len jese kyen nam be kap ane ko den raba chik cha song ta de susu ge lu gi cha sa be kap de la ane long de za yune yar gi mar gi bi che chik yoresa kanis
말하다 먼저 이 건조구 차 망고 채고야 규제 절와 이도 차 채는 고버로 가려서는 싸가 상고제 싸가는 롱주야만 주로 수비 상고 요야 얘들 편도 친구 요래스 아니 소 제쇼디 차 채벽이 바자지 뭐 류기 차 망고 저와진 차 채고야 돼 아니 저 롱주도 원래 야고 투야 당 아니 룽 요것도 랑을 흘러만 가다가 자기 샹고 요할 때는 룽이 요할 때 룽이 요할 때는 아니요 룽이 더니 룽다 거기 룽이 요것도 야고 좋아할 때는 아니 룽 가지고 야만 요것 때문에 요거 되지 쌤데 요것 때문에 잘 올라와 어디 되게 바자샤에 지도를 지기 요래서 어디 뜻이 좀 해서
how I explained it was as a reason for doing many prostrations. The reason one might do many prostrations is as an exercise in stretching the channels and exercising the movement of the wind along the channels. And most importantly, for that exercise to be imprinted so that the channels are stretched and exercised, and the bindu and the winds move along them smoothly. It's the stretching out and exercising of the channels for the smooth movement of the winds along them. And where that is achieved, then there is achieved the stability of mind. And that's how I explain it.
다 투난 카리어랬으나 상당한 사람도 짜는 거가 짜는 것이 배제여가 매봐 아니 짜는 롱 짜가지고 배상하여这些 롱 주어 야가 되게 대티나는 조가는 가서 롱이 주어 디 하마 짜오면 짜가 아마도 짜로마 짜오면 짜오면 나오죠 롱이 아마 주주 롱마 땅와 주가 저래 지고라 다 리치 투야게 아니 자기 야쇼지 차 그냥 내 제야지 아니 자기는 저거는 자롱장 아니 자 보면은 롱다야 그냥 내 제야 되게 요야 개벌지 요래 어디 치더라 지금 제 시간이 많고 요래 송시
And in the end, there are many channels that are used and many channels that are unused. And in the prostration, one exercises their channels, and the exercise channels allow for smoother movement of the moving winds along them. And then in the end, the moving winds are concentrated in their motion along the central channel, the mother of the channels, to move downward and upward along the central channel. And the practice of prostration is for exercise of the movement of the winds along the channels. And there are many others too who explain just this along these lines.
간단한 띵이 이거 띵이 고민견에 탈도 띵이 길게 되는 고는 라한테 걸어 어디 라한테 돼 자 오만나 롱땅 롱양의 교주치데 안티 제발 때네 루신장과 샘신장 더 보고요 봐 그래서 더외지들 양 차게 개천부지 차려서 해서
Through mental concentration, one achieves their aptitude in meditation. objective is to develop samadhi. And with the development of samadhi, you have gained control and independence of mind, such that one can deliberately move the moving winds to the central channel and exercise them there, creating a suppleness or pliability that is physical and mental. And the condition for achieving this is this exercise. So how about that for now? Or if there are other questions, then let's hear them.
Yes, I'm unable to hold my breath as long as you are, and I'm wondering if you could share about your the way in which you developed your capacity to hold the breath for as long as you do.
Kisi nangsen ani yunrimpo ti ka tubi mandu ani kisi nangsen ani ka tubi chedu kisi ki kanjes ani nyamyon den sakware kanjes ani chagen den tat den rimpo ani ka tubi ki chagen kanjes sangsong
말은 단단 얘기고 가만히 별로 맞을래 제 그런 거 요를 묵이 되는 거 같은 게 명민도스 이내 맞도 안다 곰니 니만 손치고 고바이나 롱다 잘라 셈다 롱스기 고바이 제스로 가지고 곰나야 고 배양이 겨진데 곰 거려 왔어 곰에 대한 자기 방법들을 해서 왔어
저한테 기시게 아니 카르치 아니 우카 투기 만두게
가마치 가야라 데스 가는 체로체로 시도
라 칼레 데스 체로 시기다
제가 데이지 막 요거 이제 냠내 이게 근데 개마로 가라치 가마치 스토 삼티디 가마치 스토 하나데 아 탕치도 참 창고치를 오고 뭐로 어떻게 되는 가마치 스토 검토 연구도 연구도 제가 데이도 공간도 공기업들의 연구를 가서 타는 우대 직직직직 한 거요 봐. 뭐 대대적인 공는 연구도 아니네 지난 다 롱다 센스게 공부를 해서 장어라 가지고 공는요. 그 용해 이게 그 상상상상로요 봐. 연구 공부를 해서 공부를 쌤 공난 연구를 해서
In a minute's meditation, I'm just on the cusp of being able to hold the breath, just wavering there. It's not as though I've mastered holding the breath continuously. All I encourage is for you to, day one, day two, and day after day, meditate so that you develop a greater capacity for the mind and the moving winds in their connection may be conditioned, and so again, it's not as though I can so easily. I'm just at the cusp there of wavering ability to. As I recite mantra, then I will retain the breath, and I'm just about able for a minute to recite the mantra on the mala going round. And so whether in meditation or mantra recitation, one may gain experience in retaining the breath. The mind and the moving winds in their connection allow for a plasticity for development. You will find that you improve so long as you meditate.
그래서 그걸 보고 싶으시더라. 알아봐도 창고지 또 창조 우가 창조 아니 다만 창고지로 어디서 한 치마만 내죠. 그냥 거는 창조 치마만 내죠. 어디를 지금 나 그래서
Design gone anime then tongue then younger
창고지 차려와 창고지도 치마만 내. 아니 양 거는 창조 양 창고지로 왜 치마만 내죠. 어디를 지금
아니 치마직 미 맞아요. And the instruction given to young children in their exercise is to recite Om Mara Patana Di around the mala, full mala's worth, and to close their eyes at the beginning as they do that, recite the Omar Abatanadi, and then at the end, reaching the last beat on the mala, then to swallow, then again to close their eyes and go through the Omar Abatanadi. And if one recites the Omar Abatanadi correctly there on the mala rapidly, then that's a minute going through the mala. Exercising in this way with the breath is very useful. First, a minute, an ability to do it for a minute, then a minute and a half, and then 2 minutes. Gradually it happens. And then gradually one achieves the generation stage where 24 hours are divided into 6 segments of 4 hours, and then unwavering in concentration, one sustains concentration for 4-hour segment. And the measure of whether an individual has achieved subtle generation stage supported by mental concentration is whether for 4 hours with mental placement on the object and retention of the breath, there is no motion detected in the belly of the meditator, and then we may say they have achieved generation state. And then we say that individual has achieved subtle samadhi, he's achieved generation stage, he's reached this level of achievement. Other questions? It's just fine that we don't have any questions. The absence of any questions itself is a question. And what's the answer to the unasked question? It is that of these 9 stages of placing the mind, there are no questions regarding the first 4. Then following a week of 7 days, next week, we will supplement this material again with the 9 stages of placing the mind and the addition of the 6 powers, 6 forces, 4 confidences, and the 8 karmic formations for mental concentration as methods for meditation in 9 stages of placing the mind. For any empowered into mantrayana practice, they are committed to at minimum 6 minutes of just this practice.
초진이 많아서 고미요나 연구 말 초진이 뒤되고 단계 말 초진이 수수가 있다 내가서 내버다다 장여 말와 단단한 내버 권에 고쪽에 장여 가로 왔다 까마 trouble 세점이 까마 찍찍찍 공토나 아니 냠내디에 케네디에 마셔서 냠내디에 여바체 수수기 니만니만 yar게 줘야 돼 여바체 팬도 친구 열에서
Yeah. Empowered into the mantrayana, one is committed to 6 sessions, and there would be 6 sessions of the 24-hour day divided into 4-hour sessions. But for one, we are not yet familiar enough in meditation to do this. Also, we haven't the time to. Also, we don't yet have the ability to. So in order to develop that ability, if we meditate for 6 minutes in this way, this is to hold to our commitments for one, and also to allow for improvement.
Imagine 가만 이도 imagine 가만 직동 쉽게 쉽도 하잖아. 근데 가만 투지 냠내체 돼서 땅이나 아니 소소 냠내데 마셔라. 아니 냠내데 yar게 줘야 줘봐. 아니 주주 신다라 만에 것이 약고 요래 손지.
In a day, there are 1,444 minutes, and if 6 minutes of those are used in meditation, there'll be no loss. In fact, there will be an improvement. And so this is the method. So I think if one approaches this in this way, there'll be no setbacks. It will be to one's advantage. We may conclude here and recite our closing prayers. And the lesson for the coming week is to be able to recall the first 4 stages of the 9 stages of placing the mind, and to meditate minute by minute. And this is the week's lesson. And then next week, you would arrive able to stay confidently at practice. Now allow us to recite the closing verse. Nyene Drube Genam Nije Sho Rangi Jijin Tobe Langi Ne Shura Tsewe Jambe Tabge Yi Drove Yiji Mumba Seje Ne Yewe Temba Yulin Zinru Temba Rinjin Shogi Magyama Kyabja Nyambar Gyurwe Shode Ije Chembe Yerabu Tyawayi Pede Tete Sewara Jebara Sho Sejen Yawe Menjun Chile Le Dru Chanju Lam Jirimbe Kyam Taradu Namge Yela Pelre Yawe Zevar Vindu Kyon Kirshik Langzang Drupe Tujin Ruchi Yege Seje Midam Bipe Sera Kundu Jawe Mawayi Namda Lamdan Jawa Magirchi Kanse Tegwa Shola Chuchuji Sushin Rula Sumba Deyi Se Tuden Namgi Tatu Roje Ching Taji Jaso Chugun Jagirchi. From my two collections, vast is space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading pata for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, my drishti. May I find the best of the paths of the complete teachings, and may I please all the patas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I hold Buddha's teachings for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined. May I offer this treasure of happiness to aid all sentient beings. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by following the complete graduated path to enlightenment and the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings that eliminate adversity, make things conducive for practicing the excellent path, never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddha. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtues, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Jinye sabe gewanti tendan dowa gunla kampen Chebara jitsin losan jabwa yi tembe ningbo rinpo serje sho kare rave korwe shingang de bendan dewa malu shongwe Jere sewa tenzi jaso yi shabe sidi balu tengyurchi Jambe bawo jela kimba dang kundu zambo te yande shende Deda Guji Jesu Dalo Chirin Gyawa Deda Tanje Ragu Mo Dusu Shebe Gyawa Tanje Gi Moa Gamba Chodo Mapa Dagi Dewe Zawa Digunya Sambo Chuje Ragu Moaraji Jaru Senjo Remboji Bagi Bana Jigirji Yewa nyamba meba yang kone kondu bewa sho. I dedicate whatever virtues I've ever collected for the benefit of the teachings of sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drakpa shine forever. In the land encircled by snowy mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful sinners, Nitins and Gyatso, please remain until cyclic existence is ended. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra do realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all the virtues with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious thus gone once of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble bodhisattva deeds. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more.
which is channel.
Okay, thank you all very much.